Welcome to this another session on publications, and today we are talking about a very what to say a gray topic. I would say it's about predatory journals and predatory conferences. Let me just introduce myself. So I'm Dr. Shruti Shah. I work with Curacos. I'm the director strategy and growth at Curacos, and I lead the entire technical team here, and I come with almost 20 plus year experience in the field of medical writing. Uh, if you look at my qualifications, I come with a post graduation degree in endocrinology, followed by a PhD in molecular oncology. I completed my education from Mumbai and from the famous Tata Memorial Center here in Mumbai. And uh, post that, I accidentally landed into the field of medical writing around 20 years back. So, yes. So now coming to so when I landed into this field of medical writing, a lot of things were not known then, but slowly we learned over time, and it is through these experiences of dealing with these kind of issues today I thought that we should talk on something that I also have been a victim of, and I will share with you, all of you, my experiences with dealing with predatory journals, that can help you, to understand how dangerous they can be and how they can take you for granted at times. Okay. And in spite of you knowing a lot of things, still sometimes we do fall prey to such malicious practices. Topic what we are going to cover is about the rising activities of predatory activities in academics. Then how do you identify these predatory journals and predatory conferences, and what you should do in case you fall prey to this, then how you should take care of the activities later on, or what you can do to falling prey to these predatory activities. Now, before we go ahead with it, I just wanted to know of how many people have actually been a victim of a predatory journal or a conference. So a small poll. So when we looked into this journal, obviously, as a writer, you go to the journal, you look at the author guidelines and all of those things. And as I mentioned, way back then, we had no idea that there could be something like a predatory journal existing. Okay? So when we looked into the journal website, we did a mock submission, we got all the guidelines, number of words and all of those things ready. We started preparing our article, and when it was time for submission, okay, when I started doing the submission, the first thing that it asked me was for payment in this activities. Now this is something that happened 2000 way back in 2010. Then why am I talking today? The reason why I'm talking today is because today, if you see academically, if you have to grow in your career, then you need more and more papers, more and more citations, more and more of your work getting noticed in the different scientific journals. And when you have those kind of increased activity, you are a co-author. Okay. And if your principal investigator has chosen a journal for you, then do you know that journal? Okay, this is very important, because many times what happens is, when you are on a panel, okay, of or authors for a particular study, okay, there may be a group of authors who might be selecting a journal. Now, for you to know, okay, whether you are also, whether that journal is really predatory or found in a very proper manner, scientific manner, whether the PI has not chosen a predatory journal, that's very important for you. Okay. The second important thing, from a researcher point of view, from an academician point of view, and also from a medical writer point of view, is if you are checking for references for some kind of a faculty position, or if you want to be a conference keynote speaker, okay, then are you selecting the right kind of references, are you selecting the right kind of journals, or I hope that you're not getting duped by the conference, the name of the conference, which probably would take the fees from you. Okay. The third important thing is, many of the researchers, okay, also help their fellow students. Okay, you may also be PhD guides, okay, who are helping your students to choose a journal. Okay, so in that case, you should be knowing that the journal that you are suggesting to your students is not a false journal, a low quality journal. It means a journal which does not do a proper peer review. So please keep in mind when I the words that I'm using, I'm not talking about low impact factor journals. Journals can have a low impact factor based on their citation, because impact factor is completely a different phenomena, how it has been calculated. Okay, a quality journal is where you have a thorough peer review that's happening, at least a peer review of almost 2 to 3 reviewers, okay, who are taking interest in knowing your research, who are asking you relevant question, who are helping you to modify your publication and making it a good article to be presented to the public, to the scientific community. Okay, so it when you submit something to a very low quality journal, it will make your research difficult to locate. Okay, that's the reason why you find that most of the times, authors, they go for ISI index journals, Scopus index journals, Medline index journals. The reason is all these index journal, they may come with a different impact factor. Some of these journals may not have an impact factor as well, but at least we know that the quality, okay, which is going in these journals are. But if you, okay, when I say, it doesn't mean it is a low impact factor journal. No, when I say just see whether you are getting any kind of articles which are prior, which are published earlier in that particular journal. Okay, normally if you supposingly, if you put Lancet, or if you put any, even if a very low impact factor journal, okay, even a Hindavi publication journal which may not be of a very high impact factor, okay, you put it there like Journal of Tropical Medicine, you will still get some articles there. Okay, which which are backdated. And if you try to look at how much backdated that they are, okay, they may be backdated for a few years. Okay, then you know the authenticity of that journal. Okay, then when you look at those emails, okay, then you look at the timestamps of these emails, and then you will find that they are very inconsistent. Sometimes they will send you emails which can be which are of timestamps of some Russian time, or sometimes it is of some Chinese time, sometimes it is of some Australian times, between different time zones. Now normally, if a journal, if an editor is sending, or if anyone from the editorial board is sending you emails to invite you for participating in a particular issue, okay, they will be consistent about their time. But these kind of conferences, they will lure you saying that you cover your own cost and your travel and your accommodation things, and we make you a keynote speaker. We will not be able to provide you any kind of remuneration to become a speaker or something like that. On the contrary, no conferences gives you a remuneration for being a speaker or a keynote speaker for that. Okay, it is usually you have to fund your own fund yourself, or a sponsor company would fund you to be to go for and attend a particular conference. Okay, the conference do not fund it. Okay, but when they mention it very clearly into their website or into that email to you, that that you become a keynote speaker on the basis of this kind of criteria, that means that conference is a fake conference. Okay, so normally, people who are working in that area for a very long time, at least you are aware about the key authors in that area. Okay, so if you're working with oncology, you know the key oncologists who are there in that area. If you find that the names, the participants are absolutely, you have no idea about those participants, if you don't have any kind of no, idea about those things, take it from me that these may be predatory conferences. Okay, then when they have several kind of categories, normally, conferences do have awards, they have certifications and all of those things. Okay, but there are several very few fixed categories which are these kind of predatory activities are existent, and not fall prey. So prevention here, I think, is better than uh, okay, better than cure. Yes, definitely, Anshul, we will definitely share with you the PPT. There is one more question which someone had asked about. Uh, okay, if you have already, okay, what if you have presented a paper in a conferences which later seemed out to be a predatory? Okay, if you have already presented a paper in that conferences, in that particular conference, you can't do anything about it, but just be careful that you cannot cite that place. because the peer review was not proper, because they have got some kind of malpractices associated with it. Okay, so when you look into any journal, okay, when you look at that's the reason why we've been insisting, all our writers and even the authors, that when we select particular kind of a journal, the first thing that we look into their backdated issues and see what kind of articles are getting published. Okay, what kind of, how, what is the time from the from the submission to the acceptance, okay, of a particular article. All these things are very important, not just for the sake that you want to publish it earlier, but it also gives you an idea about the authenticity of the journal. Imagine if a journal is publishing something, if you get, say, at least 3 articles which are published within, from the date from submission to acceptance, and within, say, 3 weeks or within 1 month, which means the journal is not giving it for a proper peer review. There is no proper peer review that is happening, and such a journal should not be considered. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time.